Hiya. Thanks for the invite, everyone.
You're welcome.
Brian Connington, ex-Football League referee, came and did a talk at both Manor and Crystal Peaks.
And he didn't send me off.
Well, to just join us and have a chat with us all. So,
Morning, Brian.
Hiya.
Morning, Chris.
That's who Brian is. So, shall we get matters underway? And we'll start with John's group update, please.
Group update. Yeah, I've talked to quite a few people this week. They've all ignored me, so I've got nothing to say. But Keith and me went to see Cyril yesterday and had a pleasant half an hour. And 3 hours later, they were having to shove us out at the front door. We need a tea, they were saying. We got there in the morning. But they were in good form, both of them, weren't they, Keith? Yeah. I think they enjoyed our company, surprisingly enough. It shows how desperate they are. But, yeah, Cyril were good. We had a good laugh, and he showed us a lot of his pictures, didn't he? Apparently, he's got a secret hole of pin-ups that he's drawn that he wouldn't let us see, so that's something for the future. Don from Manor, his son phoned me a couple of days ago, but nothing wrong with Don. He just wanted to know when the libraries will be open. And it looks like the libraries could be open in the next couple of weeks, but when they let us in is another matter. Well, it'll be easier to let us in the Manor than it would Crystal Peaks, because there's a separate room where we go in the Manor, and as long as we fumigate ourselves and the room, we may be better off there than Crystal Peaks. We'll just see. But Don's okay. I was speaking with Stuart this morning.
It'll be a while because there's maximum numbers.
Yes. What's at maximum numbers, Ron?
We could go to a beach.
We could go to a beach.
Depends on the size available.
I'll tell you what, guys.
As far as
why don't we go to Anfield? Everybody else does.
Or we could say we're getting married, because you're allowed 30 people if you do that.
Oh yeah.
If you're getting married, yeah. But
you just want another honeymoon. You just want.
Who are you going to marry, Paul?
I can't think.
Anyway, shut up.
There's one problem for John with the marriage. They don't allow any singing.
They don't allow any singing? How can you not have singing at a wedding? That is ridiculous. That makes the marriage null and void. I mean, Stuart, talking to Stuart this morning, he was in good form, as Stuart usually is. He's got blood tests tomorrow, but at the moment he's doing pretty well. And I was under the impression he'd not got a mobile phone, but now he suddenly says, "Oh, you're on WhatsApp, won't you? I'll contact you. I'll WhatsApp you." So hopefully I can get Stuart from the Manor involved in, if not this, then our WhatsApp group. Barry, talked to Barry yesterday, and he came out with something that surprised me. He's suddenly turned on to David Bowie. I mean, he's in his mid-70s, and he suddenly discovered David Bowie. He was been watching these Glastonbury programmes last week, and so his last concert, and suddenly decides that he's fantastic. And where's he been all his life? Yeah, so he's now he's got a lightning bolt across his face, Barry.
Did he start?
We're wearing a strange costume. Yeah. Anyway, everybody else is all right. We're going to see Ed this Saturday in the home, and I talked to him yesterday. He's all right, just a bit bored, but other than that, everybody's doing well. So thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Just to add to Cyril and Anita, I set a computer up so that she can look at the website, and so that Cyril can have a look at the Zoom meetings that we've had and that we're going to have. So that set up, and we set her up on WhatsApp fully so that she can do video calls with other people. So
yeah, she surprised a friend with a video call, didn't she?
She did, yeah.
It's unfortunate she had no clothes on, the friend, but you know.
Yeah, but we told Anita to put them on when we got there. Anyway,
you did well, you two guys. You did well there. Brilliant.
Yeah.
It was all selfish for our personal enjoyment.
Well,
it
the video looks good.
And
Sorry,
hang on, I'm going to make you all jealous now. John took some cake.
Oh, and it wasn't up to scratch. I do apologise.
It was
You're throwing your
fantastic.
voice again, Keith. John.
It was flour. Sorry.
And Anita insisted on giving us a quarter each.
John's really good with that ventriloquism. I wonder where he's got his hand.
So, next we'll move on to Lowell's News of the Week.
Hooray!
Oh dear. All right, Brian, nice to welcome you here.
Thank you.
Right, I'm going to start on snooker. Stephen Maguire, he picked up £250,000 thanks to a 10-6 victory over Mark Allen in the Tour Championship final in Milton Keynes. The Scot, winning his first ranking event since 2013, took the £150,000 winner's prize, and the victory also saw Maguire collect £100,000 for winning the Coral Cup as top player from 3 events. That's not bad for somebody who came in at the last minute as a replacement for Ding Junhui, who could not attend. Now, last time I talked on snooker, we mentioned about Willie Thorne. I think with Big Paul asked me why he got sacked. Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've done some digging on that, and apparently no one really knows apart from the BBC hierarchy, when a spokesman at the time saying it was an editorial decision. Thorne himself alleged that he thought it was something naughty he said in the commentary box when he thought the microphone was switched off, but it wasn't. Apparently there was an outcry by all the players led by Stephen Hendry at the time in Thorne's defence. Now that's not the first time that a famous pundit has been caught out with a microphone on when they thought it was off.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think back a few years?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's me for a start.
Ron Atkinson.
Well, Atkinson's the one I'm thinking of,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Big
that.
Paul?
Thanks for that, Lowell. Can I also add, Stephen Maguire, he also got an extra 10,000 for the highest break as well, didn't he?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Did well, didn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah. Nice pickup.
Ron,
Yeah.
yeah, Ron Atkinson didn't get sacked, he resigned himself. I think it was forced though. Can you remember what he said and what it was for?
No,
Well, I can, but I don't think you should mention
I
it.
don't
He
think
was-
we should go down that route. No, cut that.
Right. Right, Formula One.
Who needs Sky when you've got LOL? LOL TV.
Yeah.
Formula One. Now,
Guy
Mercedes
Gibson's dog.
announced yesterday they're going to run their cars in an all-black livery when racing starts up again to combat racism and promote diversity. Decals
What?
on the cars will include End Racism and We Racers One. Any comments on that?
Did you say all the cars are going to be black, or was it just one
Mercedes
particular
cars.
team?
Mercedes cars.
Oh, Mercedes, yeah.
Other teams might follow suit or in a similar vein.
Well, I hope they don't. How will we recognise them?
The big numbers are on the side here.
Right, thank you, Uncle Ron. Thank you.
Right, then we're nip on
We ought
top.
to have big numbers on our sides, didn't we?
You have got a big number.
You mean you haven't?
On my backside, yeah.
Yes, 0.
Little bit on athletics now then. Now Mo Farah,
Yeah.
he will return to the track for the first time since 2017 in a bid to break the men's 1-hour world record at a meeting in Brussels on the 4th of September. The 37-year-old, winner of multiple world and Olympic titles, hopes to better Ethiopian Haile Gebrselassie 13-year-old record of 21.285 kilometres in an hour. You can't think of anything more boring than watching somebody run around the track for an hour.
Jenny has to
You've
watch
never seen
that.
Wednesday at home, have you?
You want to try running it?
The New York and the Berlin marathons have been cancelled because of the global pandemic. And this year's New York Marathon, due to take place on the 1st of November, would have marked the 50th running of the event. It's also the world's largest marathon, with 53,640 finishers last year. That's some number. Now the British
You've done that, Paul, haven't you?
Yeah, twice.
Paul, sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt, Noel. What are you doing with no marathons to run? Why don't you have your own biscuit marathon or something?
Yeah, sponsored by Kit Kat.
Yes.
The only one that is still on at the moment is the Chicago Marathon, which I am supposed to be doing.
Well, my daughter.
When's that?
It's October the 12th. So the strange thing is that New York in November has been called off. Boston, which should have been in September, is being called off. Chicago is still on at the moment.
In Chicago.
London can't make a decision. My daughter, who was applied and accepted to do this year's marathon, keeps getting messages that keep training. We haven't made a decision yet. She's getting quite hacked off with it, to be honest.
That's right. My wife's supposed to be running it as well.
Mhm.
She, obviously, she's getting the same messages. They're very upbeat about it going on.
Yes.
Personally, I can't see it happening.
Well,
I can't see how you're going to get 1 million people standing on the side of the road.
Unless you're on Bournemouth Beach.
Yeah.
Or outside Anfield.
That's right. Yeah.
Anfield's a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Or
right.
English Park.
A few laps of that. So we're waiting.
Or
So
English
that's what I'm doing.
Carry on then.
Yeah.
Now the British Athletics Championships have been rescheduled behind closed doors for the 4th and 5th of September. The event in Manchester, which normally acts as trials for the Olympics, was meant to be held on the 20th and the 21st of June. The BBC are going to show live coverage of the two-day event.
I think some athletes will find that tough because of the lack of training.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, golf. American Dustin Johnson won his first PGA Tour event in 16 months at the Travelers Championship in Cromwell, Connecticut, with a final total score of 19 under par. He held off the challenge from compatriot Kevin Steelman by 1 stroke. I think it must be an easy course because loads of them got around about 62, 63 rounds. McIlroy got a 63 round, and Canadian Mackenzie Hughes had a 60. So it's a very simple course, I should think.
Pretty crazy golf, this.
Have you
Rugby
seen
league
the story
Goes
this?
back to what
Have you seen the story this morning about
Colin
the English
Montgomery
golfer?
was.
Hang on a second. Brian, I forgot to mention, if you want to say something, can you put your hand up like that? It's
Yes,
just,
sorry.
so it's at once. All right. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you.
Can you make sure you've got a red card in it?
Come on, Brian.
It's part of my DNA. The story this morning about the English golfer who was caught live on TV, although it was sound only. His partner drove off and he let off one of the loudest farts you've ever heard. And it got picked up on live TV. And the guy who drove off said, "Did you get that?"
No. Wind assisted shot.
Yeah.
Good job there's no video, otherwise all you see was people flat on their backs.
Did he shout 4?
Oh, foo.
Foo.
Right, a little bit on rugby league. The Super League. Okay, Eddie. The Super League season is to resume on the 2nd of August, 4 months after being suspended. 3 matches will be played that day at the same venue behind closed doors. All remaining games will be played at a small number of neutral venues until the government directives change. No decision has yet been made as to whether the Championship and League One will restart at all this season. So they've got to wait on their decision for that. You're thinking it might start? Sheffield Eagles and
No, no chance.
No.
Noel,
yes,
how are they frequently are they playing those 3 matches on the day? Because there's got to be some problems with the changing rooms. Remember when the Liverpool-Everton derby took place, Liverpool had to change in porter cabins that they'd installed to keep people separate. So when you've got 6 teams there in one day, imagine that's going to be quite a logistics problem.
in the Premier games this week, they've been changing in away from the players changing area, haven't they? The away team.
Yeah.
They've been changing in rooms or whatever, then walking down from the stands. So they could do something like that, or fumigate it every time they've end of each game. They could be, don't know how many hours apart they're going to be.
I mean, they could have one at 10, one at 1, one at 4, or one at 10, 2 and 6. That would leave plenty of time to go in. Clean the...
That would seem sensible, Keith. Yeah.
The players might have already changed. You don't know.
Give him a ring. Let him know, Keith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might have slept in the kit.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, carry on. A little bit on tennis. In the Battle of the Brits, Dan Evans showed why he is British #1 with an accomplished display in the final when he beat Kyle Edmund 6-3, 6-2. And that's the first time in his career that Evans has beaten Edmund in a competition. Although it was an exhibition event, the quality of tennis at the National Tennis Centre made it a competitive week. Andy Murray, who lost to Evans in the semi-final, said he was fairly happy with his return to tennis after being out of action for 7 months after suffering a pelvic injury. Did anybody watch the tennis at all?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Steve, do you want to say something?
No, it was just. He's right. It was just good. It were good tennis. There were no tantrums. There were no, line calls. There were. It was just played in good spirit.
Yeah.
And it showed that they don't need ball boys.
And audience. Did they just use Hawkeye? Was it just Hawkeye that they used? No line judges?
Well, the line judges were there doing the call.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah. No, they weren't. They were looking at the screen, watching Hawkeye.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, okay. They weren't actually on the court.
Yeah. So there were no linesmen around the court. There were just the umpire in the middle and another umpire that were doing the football.
Right.
The bell.
A train coming through.
The bells.
Sorry.
No, that's Marilyn.
Who is that?
Yeah. Go on, Lol.
All right. A little bit on horse racing, bit of sad news. Jockey Liam Treadwell, who rode the 100-to-1 shot Mom to win the 2009 Grand National at Aintree, has died at the age of 34. Now, it was a very easy win. He won by 10 lengths on that race at 100-to-1. He had been suffering from depression since a bad fall at Bangor in February 2016, in which he was unconscious for 4 minutes. He had over 300 winners in his career and was a very popular jockey. Any comment on that?
Bangor? Do you mean Bangor, North Wales, where the point-to-point is, or?
Yeah, Bangor, yeah.
Well,
Bangor.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a nice open space, lovely for a point-to-point. I'm surprised a jockey of that stature was at a point-to-point, to be honest.
No, a normal racecourse area.
Is there now? Oh, right. It's ages since I've been.
Yeah.
But it used to be a lovely place to go.
Yeah. Big Paul.
I think, Ian, from one of the quizzes I did, that was the question, which is the only race course that hasn't got a grandstand? And I think
That's
it
it.
was Bangor got a grandstand.
And the national winner you're on about, I think it was Mon Ami, wasn't it? 2000. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, my friend.
Very good.
Fred,
We know
yeah.
a song about Bangor, don't we?
Yeah.
We do.
Go on then, give us it.
No, it's all right. You don't deserve it.
Before I carry on, I'm going to ask a question about his career. Claire Baldwin interviewed him after his win.
Balding.
Grand National.
Yeah.
And she got lambasted for comments she made. Can anybody remember why she got lambasted for it?
About his teeth.
Yeah,
Jenny's
right.
just point. Johnny's remembered it.
Yep. Yeah, she thought a horse had damaged his teeth because it's a common injury that jockeys get when they fall and that. But he was born with these teeth, and she made fun of them. They got over 2,000 complaints.
She's got anything to say.
BBC, and dentists offered to repair his teeth free. But I don't know whether he took any offers up.
Ken Dodd was his dad.
Ken Dodd's dad's dog's dead.
That when you've had a drink.
That's easy for you to say.
I had to say that in a play once.
I'll come on to Steve and Chris's favourite sport now, cricket. A former England captain, Claire Connor, will become the first female president of the MCC in its 233-year history. The 43-year-old, currently England and Wales Board's managing director of women's cricket, will take up her new role on the 1st of October next year. She will replace former Sri Lanka captain Kumar Sangakkara. What are your views on having a female at the helm?
Why not?
Yeah.
Yorkshire are going to have a female vice president next year, and that's Janet Bairstow,
Oh, right.
who was
Oh,
David
fancy that.
Bairstow's
Yeah.
wife.
Yeah.
And also, it's been announced that I can't remember her first name, but somebody Morgan, who used to play for Middlesex and England, is going to be Middlesex's vice president next year. But I can't remember. I think it's Laura, but Beth. Sorry, I'm told it's Beth Morgan, who played for Middlesex. Is going to be Middlesex's vice president.
See how women are taking over our lives. You know, Steve, you can give a brief there without being a management interrupt, you know.
I mean, as it stands, we've got Parrots with Steve, with John, probably with Dave as well. So
We've got parrots. Yeah.
We've even got
Parrots.
Susan on the
I'll have
screen.
to
Have you
edit
seen
that
her?
out, Keith.
well, we've got, yeah.
Have you got where's Susan?
Yeah,
Speak up,
Parrots,
Susan.
Alice. Yeah.
Susan's Dave.
Yeah.
Susan's his Sunday name. Comment, Dave.
Speechless.
Put your wig on, Susan.
Yeah.
Right.
Some good news this week. The county season is to start on the 1st of August. Formats of 2 competitions will be confirmed early in July. They're thinking they might have a 4-day game and a 1-day game leagues, and they'll be regionalised. In other words, you're not going to get Durham going down to Sussex. You're going to get it all northern clubs playing together and southern. So we'll see how that comes out. But before that, there are going to be two-day Red Bull game friendlies behind closed doors in late July. Surrey will host Middlesex at the Oval on the 26th and 27th of July, and that will be live streamed online. Before that, Yorkshire will play Lancashire at Headingley on the 24th and the 25th of July, with that match available for club members of both teams to watch online. So you're all right there, Steve?
Yeah, And that's going to be multi-camera, not just the one camera showing the bowler, the bowler's end. It's going to be multi-camera, that one. That's why it's for members. I think everybody else can just watch the normal single camera.
Oh, so it will be open to us as well. But we don't get what you'll see. Aye.
Yeah.
So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Stuart Broad.
Hang on. Whoa. Hold on. Chris.
I've read that because of the risk of injury, because they're going to have to play so many games in quick succession, that they might consider allowing substitute fielders and bowlers, particularly bowlers, I mean, and in that case, none of the games will have the status of first-class cricket. You can't have substitute bowlers in a match.
No.
So it'd be good to get a game on, but they probably won't ever figure in the record books.
No.
Right.
Now, Stuart Broad, he's worried about not being able to perform with no fans, and so has spoken to a sports psychologist about creating a mindset to get his emotions up while he's bowling.
He wants to attend one of these Zoom meetings.
I think he's got a personal problem.
Shouldn't he?
Keep taking the
Well,
tab.
spit it out. Is there somebody we can't see doing something unspeakable to you, lol?
No, just laughing at Ian.
They all do.
Now, Ben Stokes.
I keep having thoughts that it'd get me a red card, but
It will. Banned from Zooming. Now, Ben Stokes will captain England for the first time next week against the West Indies, as Joe Root will be attending the birth of his second child. It will end Root's run of playing in 77 consecutive Test matches for England. That's a sad record to have to lose, isn't it, for the birth of your baby?
Only one
Couldn't
player.
time
got
get any
more.
worse.
Only one player's got more.
Who's that, Paul?
Who's that, Paul?
Alistair Cook, 150.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Blimey heck.
And
So
the
the
West
record to
Indies. Come on. Any more?
So he would have had a way to go.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
But the West Indies are
Chris,
Hello?
can I just ask a question?
Yep.
Are these West Indies Test matches being considered as first class or Test class or whatever?
Yeah.
They
Yes.
are.
Yes. Yeah, the point
Thank
I
you.
made was that if they do things to accommodate domestic cricket and you allow rules that aren't rules, if you see what I mean, worldwide, the status of the game is affected, but not the West Indies, no.
And talking about the West Indies, they're going to wear Black Lives Matter logos on their shirts, as did the Premier League players at the beginning of their season when it restarted. Now, football. Australia and New Zealand will host the 2023 Women's World Cup. The joint bid got the nod ahead of Colombia, the only other country in the running after Brazil and Japan dropped out earlier in June. It will be the first time to feature 32 sides. It will be up from the current 24. Any views on ladies soccer at all? What about you, Brian? You referee it at all?
Well, it's certainly gathering pace. I do despair a little bit, if that's the right terminology, when they start describing themselves as equal to the men's game, which I think is a bit of a stretch. But you know, it is what it is. People can watch it or not as they choose. No doubt it'll get plastered across the BBC from dusk till dawn, and we'll watch what we want.
I've lost sight of this. Who's taken over from Phil Neal as the Phil Neville as Phil Neville, the England ladies manager? Who is the new manager?
Don't think anybody has yet.
Nobody has.
Has he resigned?
Yes.
He said
Yeah.
that he will step down, but he's supposed to be. Originally, the plan was that he would go through to the Olympics,
That's right.
which is in 2020, or should have been, this summer. What the plan is now, I don't think anything's been done about it.
But they seem to be.
Has he been forced out then?
Yeah, I think so.
No, he's resigned.
No, yes.
They weren't improving, though, were they? They weren't improving.
I think that was the problem, though. That I think the performance of the side had, after the last World Cup, had diminished so much, had deteriorated so much. He was feeling he wasn't able to motivate them. I think that's what was behind his decision.
Yeah. Brian?
Well, no doubt he'll get a better job as a pundit, like all these other pundits seem to have got, who then overnight become marvellous managers, like Alan Shearer, for instance, who I think won 2 games out of 12 and slags every other manager off every week on Match of the Day.
Tony?
Any suggestions for a replacement?
Chris Wilder.
Manchester City's manager.
What about Karen Brady?
No, and I don't mean Guardiola. No,
Neil Warnock.
he's Manchester City's manager.
Alex Scott.
Just
Might
going,
get her off telly.
just going back to what Brian was saying about the women and equality with the men's game. The only argument that's, for me, that's had any substance on that is in America, where the women's internationals have pulled as bigger crowds as the men's internationals. So I think that there is an argument that when you're playing an international game, if the crowds are the same, then they should be being paid the same. I think that's a decent argument, but it's not what the women's game have won at the moment.
Yeah.
Well,
They got 80,000 at Wembley to see England play last year.
Yeah.
I don't think the ladies' game is as fast as the men's game, but some of the skills are there, no doubt about it. I think the last World Cup, there was some pretty good standard of football. And to be honest, I've seen some league games since closed doors that are a lot worse than some of the women's games I've seen.
Brian?
Well, I think it's the way of the world, isn't it? In the sense that the men have got like 100 years start on the women's game, but as a society, we try to bridge that gap in 100 minutes, not 100 years, and that's what happens today. It has to be now, immediate, and an instant.
Steve?
It's same with the women's cricket. They've got to catch up very, very quickly. I've watched quite a lot of women's games over the last couple of years, and the skills are there. Not with everybody in every team, but quite a few of them have got the skills, and they play it in the right sense. There's no bitchiness or anything like that. But it's good to watch, and it's usually cheaper to get in than it is in the men's game at the moment, so that makes it more attractive.
Yeah.
Steve, I think.
Tony?
I think going back to the football, I think the heading ability is very poor in the women's game. I don't know what your thoughts are.
But for me, the main difference is goalkeepers. I think the goalkeepers are poor. The general standard of play has improved dramatically over the last 10 years. I think the goalkeeping is alarmingly bad. And there are enough female gymnasts about. I think they should look for female gymnasts to be in goal, because the goalkeeping is rubbish.
Have you seen how tall the female gymnasts are, John?
How
tall they are? Female gymnasts are
No, I've not noticed.
About 4'10".
Exactly. Ron Springett were only 4'6", and look at him.
Hang on. Ian.
Steve, picking up Steve's point on the ladies' cricket, I think there's a concertina effect there. Men's cricket, they caught up to a certain standard with the men, with the early cricket games, but I think the men have increased their standard. Some of the fielding in the modern game is outstanding, and in the men's game has improved over the last 3 or 4 seasons.
Would you mind?
Yeah.
The last World Cup was just fantastic.
But the thing is, the men have got 3, 4, 5 people supporting them to each player.
Yes.
Whereas the women, you know, there's one coach for all of them.
Yes.
Apart from the international level, when they've got that. But in New Yorkshire, I mean, they've got one coach between them, if you know what I mean. Therefore, they don't progress as fast.
It's become super professional in the men's game, and
Yeah.
they've gone up a league in a sense, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this international game.
Right, let me stop. Well, let me stop.
1 minute.
We've got less than a minute to go. So
Right.
Let's wrap this one up. Have you got much more news, Lol?
Just 1 or 2 more snippets on football. That's all. 5 minutes.
We'll finish that. We'll do that on the next one. So I'll end this one now and